Hey guys, it's Jack here with another Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition tutorial. In this guide, we're going to be looking at the experience system and the home city shipment system in Age of Empires 3. As you play the game, you will gain experience for doing many different things. This includes killing units, creating units, constructing buildings, and sometimes as rewards from treasures after you defeat the Guardians. Some buildings will passively generate experience, such as a trading post that you can build on certain maps on trading post sockets, trading post sites. By default, trading posts will generate experience whenever the rickshaw passes by. As you can see, I get 74 experience every time he passes by. This can be upgraded later on to generate resources instead, or grant you more experience quicker, as he'll move faster and you'll get more passes. The church building, available for most civilizations in Age 2 and onward, also generates a trickle of resources. However, this isn't based on a repeating event such as a rickshaw passing, it's just a trickle that automatically goes into your bank basically. As you can see, this church is generating 0.7 XP per second. The church also has a expensive tech in it called mercantilism, which costs 1500 coin and gives you 2000 experience, which is usually quite a bit. It's usually multiple shipments. Some strategies that are quite shipment reliant or shipment heavy can be quite dependent on this tech. In Age of Empires 3, shipments are sent from your home city, which is represented by your country's flag on your screen. You can click it to access it. In order to receive a shipment on the map, you need a home city shipment point. For most games, this will usually be your town center at the beginning. Outposts also act as home city shipment points. Other buildings such as blockhouses also act as that. Typical shipments might include something such as soldiers, resource crates, which your villagers can gather quickly from the ground, or even just more settlers. Some cards will improve the strength of your soldiers. There are also some cards that improve the training speed of soldiers as well. Fencing School, 40% for infantry, and Riding School, 40% for cavalry. Most civilizations have cards that give them access to more research trees, more technologies. For example, the Advanced Church card for most civilizations usually gives unique technologies for every civilization within their church. This is usually a shipment of unique units for that civilization or different technologies. There are also economic cards that affect your gather rate. Some cards are for artificial buildings, such as mills and estates. Some are for natural resources, such as berry bushes, hunted animals, etc. Some cards, such as refrigeration and royal mint, will actually affect both artificial and natural resources. In team games, there are shipments that can have substantial impacts on the game. These include the industrial age shipment for factories. One is called factory, the other one's usually called robber barons. Most civilizations can only have two factories, and they are essentially little economic self-enclosed powerhouses. A factory can either be set to generate resources, any of the three, or a civilization's heavy cannon. For most civilizations, it's just a heavy cannon. Some civilizations get a special variant. British get rockets, Ottomans get great bombards. An unupgraded factory will generate 5.5 resources per second. Above resource production, you'll also see that there are technologies that improve the rate at which the factory generates resources or generates cannons. In Imperial Age, you'll also be granted access to Imperial cannons. Once those upgrades are researched for their respective resources, that rate will go up to 7.15 per second. For most civilizations, once you lose your factories, you can't get any more, and they're quite quintessential in team games. Most of the time, when people go to damage you in your base, they will go for your factories first. Now that we've looked at the different type of units, let's see if we can make a good deck. For most civilizations, there's a maximum of 25 cards in a deck, with shipments being broken down into different ages. There is a maximum of 10 shipments per age in a deck. When building a deck, you have to think to yourself, what am I trying to achieve? Let's say you're a British player and you're building a 1v1 deck. Britain's main strengths are their colonial economy, their ability to produce units in colonial, their musketeers, and their hussars. So if I was building a British 1 vs 1 deck, I'd put in a nice mix of economic, military, shipments, and resources. So in the exploration age, I might put in 3 villages, an economic shipment. Virginia Company makes my manners cheaper. And then in age 2, where Britain is strong, I'll put in a lot of shipments. I'll put in 700 wood. That could create manor houses. That could allow me to put down additional barracks and stables when fighting the enemy to be able to react. I might even put in a few crates. Some villages. Maybe I'll put in 6 musketeers. Spice trade. Some musketeer upgrade cards, as I'll be focusing on them mainly. And maybe even heavy cavalry hit points, in case I want to mix some hussars into the fray. In age 3, I'll do something similar. Some villages, maybe some resource crates, wood for some extra town centers, which become available in Fortress. Maybe coin, maybe I just want to shoot to the industrial age, or build an artillery foundry and make some more cannons. Maybe I want to put some more units in there, unit upgrades, some good economic shipments, refrigeration, royal mint. Maybe I want to put a fort in there. Forts can lock down map, great map control. Maybe I want to put in some mercenaries, close the game off in age 3. 2 falconets, a very strong shipment, a staple of many decks. And just to finish it off, maybe a couple of factories, very powerful shipments. Maybe I want to put in some rockets, send them when I hit industrial, surprise the enemy early. Infinite rockets, 2 infinite rockets, you could just keep sending it. Very powerful shipment, infinite shipments. Or perhaps you're a team player and you enjoy going cavalry, and that means that your deck is going to be quite a bit different. You might have noticed that some of the shipments have a green box surrounding them. That indicates that it's a team shipment. So when you send these cards, your whole team will benefit from it. The more players there are on your team, the bigger the reward. So if I was building a Team British Cav deck, I'd still put in the villages. I'd still put in an economic shipment. Maybe if I was feeling nice, I'd put in a team economic shipment, just in case everybody ends up having to build estates because all the mines ran out. In team games, your economy is way more important than in a one-on-one. It's quite common for team decks to be quite considerably more greedy than a one-on-one deck. I'm building a Cav deck. I still want to go with a mix of cards, but I'm adding in Cav combat cards, fast training cavalry, riding school, maybe some economic shipments in there, maybe two if I really want to be greedy. If you're the type of team that likes to rush, you could even just add in 6 musketeers as a supplement to your rush, even if you're the Cav player. But as you can see, we're going to focus a lot more cards into economy and into the particular unit we're making, because we're probably not going to mix musketeers. If we're in a team game, we're going to have a teammate making a unit like that. So we're just going to go all the way into cavalry. Lots of economic shipments. Good mix. Maybe 5 Hus or 4 Hus, just supplement the unit that you're making in case your team needs it. Maybe some falconets. You never know when your team might need them. And then just finish it off with that nice little mix of economy and a little bit of military, depending on how you play. Now I'll give a brief explanation as to when you're going to send each different type of shipment and the situations you might want to use them in. Villager shipments are a core, key staple part of economic growth in this game. Most build orders that have civilizations that have villager shipments will usually send 3 villagers first in age 1. It grants probably the largest immediate economic bonus for any civ that has them. Resource crates are powerful because they give you good versatility, especially the wood shipments. The reason that they're so good is that if you're playing a game and let's say you're making musketeers and your opponent starts making a unit that beats musketeers, you ship the wood, you can put a couple more houses down to expand your army, and you can build a different military production building. You could build a stable or a trading post or other buildings that will give you an advantage. Or you could send gold and you could use that to supplement your economy and have less villagers gathering gold and rely on the shipment and get a huge army out early, or use a shipment of gold to age to the next age very quickly. Unit shipments are good for when you're in a pickle or you're going to push very soon and you just want to hit them with that little extra bit of strength. I wouldn't send units if you're just not going to use them, because that would just be a waste when you could have sent something else. Economic shipments are great, such as spice trade here. The more economic shipments you send, especially in a team game, the stronger you'll be later on. Cards such as cannons and factories are better the earlier you send them. They have a bit more shock value, and the opponents will have less to deal with them the earlier you send them. Mercenaries are also great for a similar reason. They give you a huge power spike. And factories are great as well to get down as soon as you can. They're just great economic shipments. They can be retasked to produce heavy cannons if you need them. They are just honestly quintessential in team. Heavy cannon and rocket shipments are also quite amazing to get out early. They are just infantry and cannon killers. Anyway, this was just a brief introduction to the experience and home city shipment system in Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. Thank you very much for watching.